Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 25 with the St. Louis Browns. In our previous episode, we completed our, third season with the team? Maybe fourth? I feel like third is the right number, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, so we just finished our second, actually. Significantly more challenging this time around, so which is a good thing because talking about getting a little bit bored with it. But hopefully we'll see some interesting decisions to be made going forward. Before we get too into this, I want to take a moment to talk about something that my friends had brought up. I was talking about a game that just came out, and that it wasn't terribly. Oh, I was talking about Dragon Age of Veilguard coming out soon, which I'm really excited about. I love the Dragon Age series, and how people were being weird about it. Because like, oh, it's not Baldur's Gate 3. And I said, Baldur's Gate 3 is not the pinnacle of gaming for me. I don't know why you can't have two things. And so the question of what game would you pick if you were on a desert island and could never play another video game again? My response was first I would kill myself because I enjoy way too many games um, to want to ever be stuck with one of them. Facetiously, of course. But I got to thinking about it, and I figured I would actually probably pick this because it's the same game. Like, just like playing a board game. The rules are the same, mostly. The game is the same. Your objective is to score more runs than your opponent within 27 outs. But beyond that, every team is so different. Every play is so different. There's so many levers that you can pull to change the game quite drastically. Like, I don't know, integrating the Negro Leagues into the major leagues from day one. That this is easily the most compelling video game series of all time, in my opinion, because of the infinite replayability. Only something like Civilization would come close for me, or one of the Paradox Grand Strategy games that I've played quite a bit, like EU3. I played a whole lot of EU4. I played a fair bit of Victoria 2 especially. Those are the kinds of games that have staying power, but one of the things they don't have in common is they don't really have any story other than emergent stories. The story that I'm telling when I do these videos and when I produce these series is what's happening the way that I see it. But there is no actual story. And the way that, say, Grand Theft Auto or Cyberpunk or Starfield or any one of those other games has an actual story, these don't have that. But I think that's always going to be your answer to most desert island games. Like, I would never pick Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 wouldn't even be my top 10 desert island list because it's a relatively finite amount of content, and B, I don't like the game enough. I would say that I don't like the game, and I don't want this to turn into why Abby likes but doesn't love Baldur's Gate 3 again, because I've already done that in the past. You can check it out on Reddit if you'd like, or in the community post on YouTube. Um, but yeah, that would be my choice. If you give me an internet connection, then I'm probably going to say a tabletop RPG. Would be my second choice. If I actually have other people to play with, I would probably pick a tabletop RPG over anything except Out of the Park Baseball, which is weird. And it's weird because I haven't played this game single player at all yet. I've noticed as I've had this channel, I used to spend like hours and hours and hours only playing this game, which isn't normally how I like to play video games. I'd like to have several different games that serve several different purposes for whatever itch I need to scratch at a particular moment. Um, this is going off on a tangent, but hell, we're already in Tangentsville. Um, the games I presently have installed are Diablo 4 and StarCraft 2, which I haven't played in a while, but they're both in Battle.net. Victoria 3, Dreamfall Chapters, which is the sequel to Dreamfall, which is the sequel to Longest Journey. One of the best point-click adventure games of all time, in my opinion. Full stop. Starfield, I just mentioned. Open Roads, which is by the people that did Gone Home and Tacoma. Another like adventure type game. I love adventure games because I love great stories, and these are almost always great stories. I haven't actually played Open Roads yet. I don't know how good it is. The Expanse Telltale series, because I love those books and TV series. Again, I haven't played it, but I want to. I have a lot of games installed on my system I haven't actually played yet, which is maybe a bit damning. The Thaumaturge, which is like a horror type turn based strategy game set in Poland, which I'm excited about. Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate, which is an XCOM version of Warhammer, which I'm excited about. And the Warhammer 40k for Rogue Trader, which I have played. I've actually played through 99% of the first chapter. I haven't gotten super deep into it. So all this is to say, those are the kinds of games that I have there, and OOTP. And of all those games, I would pick OOTP over any of them without a moment's hesitation. There's a couple of the games I had high up on my list, relatively speaking, like a Slay the Spire would be a good choice. I love Slay the Spire a lot. Or something like Marvel's Midnight Suns. Those would all be really interesting games to have and play over and over and over again without getting bored of them. Anyways, so this is to say, if you're thinking about getting out of the mark baseball based on my channel, I told you I'd come back to it. I think you should, if you find it compelling. I know that some people don't like what is essentially a spreadsheet game. Yes, there is the 3D mode, which I know some people really enjoy. I don't really care about it one way or the other. But it's not like an MLB The Show. You're not actually hitting or actually pitching. You're telling your players what to do, which I find more compelling. I find it more interesting. There's also little foibles to the way that the game works. The documentation is better than it's ever been, but still not perfect. And part of that is intentional. Like, let's hide the numbers so you have to think about it really carefully. But the other part of it is a little bit less interesting. Anyways, so in case you didn't know, after however many videos I've done of this game already, I like the game a lot, and you should buy it if you find it interesting. Um, Sticking on this topic because it actually is relevant. Somebody had posted on one of my earlier videos in this series about replicating what I did, replicating integrating the Negro Leagues from day one. All it is a matter of is starting a new historical sim, and then actually let me show you how to do this really quickly. Let me save this game. The way I did it worked really, really well. There's other ways to do it, as people on the Out of the Park forums had stated, but this is easy. We're going to go to create new game. No challenge mode, please. Historical. You're going to want to start in 1920. The reason you're going to want to start in 1920 is because that's when the Negro Leagues are added into the sim. So you're going to click on next step. Definitely import the Negro Leagues and minor leagues. 100%. Most of the rest of this I would leave alone. You do want to recalc maybe every 3 years. I don't really care that much about this. And you definitely want to turn on hold amateur draft. Otherwise it just puts people on the teams that are supposed to be on. Then you go to next step, set all these however you'd like. Next step. It's gonna take a moment to load. Call it whatever you want to call it. And then you're going to change one very important rule to actually make it happen. So think about it. To do this in other versions of OOTP involves way more steps. So many more steps. That is just not worth it, in my opinion. I would buy OOTP 25 if you intend to play in the Negro Leagues. It's just easier. The one setting you have to watch for, though, and this is one that 23 or 24 kept screwing up. It kept unchecking this box. Sure, we'll pick Cleveland. Why not? Things are happening, and this is the key. It's under players and team. Isn't it? No, it's not. It's under players here. No. Where is it? It's under rules? It is under rules. Yeah, right here. Uncheck that box. And then you have the exact scenario that I did when I started. Yeah, that's how you do it. No, not too complicated. Feel free to fuck with settings as much as you'd like. To design the game that you want to do. But that's literally the important thing. Is coming into here and unchecking color barrier, and then you can sign players to the new rules if you want to. I'm not going to keep this game. As soon as I reload the correct save, I'm going to delete it because I got what I wanted to. I just want to show you guys how to do it. But that's how you do it. Very straightforward, very simple. Make sure you don't start before 1920. I guess you could start before 1920 if you wanted to, but you won't actually see the new leagues until 1920. There we go. Let's actually play this series. We are 10 minutes into the video. I haven't talked about this game yet. Sorry, guys. But people had commented on this, so I wanted to make sure that I had a moment to talk about it. Last season went pretty poorly. In fact, and this is true, this is the worst team we've ever had. In terms purely of. No, actually, no. This Braves team was actually the worst. Second worst. I've only had 2 losing seasons as a manager and general manager, and this is one of them. What happened? The Negro League curse happened. And I think this may be involved in recalc, which is Jesse Williams went from MVP candidate to above replacement level. That happened for other players too, like some of our Negro League pitchers. So, such is the world in which we find ourselves. We're also stuck in the World War II vortex. What I mean by that is quite simple. Excuse me. We no longer have the ready pipeline of talent we used to have, and the Negro League players are getting worse. A lot worse. Let me get a drink real quick. That's better. So let's quickly jump into signing a new player. Players, all leagues, at least 50 potential as a pitcher. Ready? Go. Do you know what you're not seeing? Oh, there is one example. Robert Keys is somebody we could sign if we wanted to. Meh. I don't think so. But there is one player with over 50 potential so far that's freely available in either the Negro Leagues or um an independent league team. Switch hitters do the same thing. I bet we won't even get that much. Man, the guy who built the Boston Braves really knew what he was doing. Or the Boston Red Sox. A lot of these guys aren't my players anymore. They've been gone for a while. Like looking. So the freely available talent besides Gus Zernial, the Waycross Bears, which honestly, I need prospects. I'm gonna go ahead and pay him, even though I don't know he's gonna be all that special. 11 grand is more than worth it to me. To add one more mid-tier prospect to things here. So that is gone. That is no longer an option for us. But let's check on free agency. There aren't very many good players here. And this is going to have an interesting chilling effect on basically trades I think are going to start drying up. Because if you have good players, you want to keep them. Which is very easy with the reserve clause. But until we get out of the war years, I think it's going to be a really challenging time to build, a competitive team without a lot of luck. Yeah, fuck you, Mike Brown. We need a new first base coach. We need a lot of minor league coaches, which are not my problem. What am I lacking first base coach wise? I need somebody who can teach the outfield pretty effectively and maybe teach catching. Let's take a look. Because I have chemistry turned off, I can hire any coach I want, which is very good. Give me. Oh, I don't care about the filter now. Go away, filter. Coach rating. Somebody can teach the infield and catching ideally. That sounds like Mel Silva to me. So I think Mel Silva is who it shall be. Or we go for ball player Nagel, who's actually a really good coach across the board. Who gets along better with my players? Most of the team likes you fairly well. What about Mr. Silva here? They're less excited about him. I think we'll go ahead and take Nagel, Lindsay Nagel. I can't. What? Why are you even on my list so I can't offer you a contract? What? I want to hire you. That is so random. I wonder why I can't hire him. What up, Pete Lapon? A lot of my players like him quite a lot. I think Pete Lapon is the guy. I know he's not as good at teaching the infield as you might like, but I think he's an overall very good coach, and I think he's a great addition to the club. Let's get after it. You're damn right they don't. Nice. Okay. I forgot about player development. I've only lost 2 weeks, thankfully, but that was almost a big yikes. Outfield. Let's go ahead and have Blake do. Oh, I can't do Blake. Lapon. There you go. Nice. Some good teachers here now. You'd love to see it. Let us now. Domino or gay apparel. I don't know why I keep saying that. Player development lab. Let's go. Let's get John Morrow in. Work on movement, good sir. Alex Kellner, I think, could really benefit from working on his individual pitches. Let's work on your secondary pitches. Done. Pat Siri's got to make contact. Even though it's going to be really challenging, if he's ever going to be a decent player, he's going to have to start making contact. Um, Gus Zernial. Oh, the new guy. Very similar type of scenario, which I really wanted to work on quality of contact. So we'll try it out. Um, Johnny Schmitz is quite close to being Major League ready. Let's have you work on control, please. And then Howie Schultz, if he's ever going to be a great player, just needs to get good at something. I'm actually going to work on plate discipline. There you go. I like it. Johnny Schmitz is very close to being a starter, an everyday starter already. I know he's a reliever for sure. His stamina is pretty shit. We'll figure something out to do with him. Don't you worry. Why do they call you Ozark Ike when you're from Texas? Beaumont, Texas, to be precise, which is not known for its mountains. Let me tell you that I've driven through Beaumont, Texas. Hmm. He was apparently quite a good player for a short time, which I've never heard of him, even once. That's wild. I still don't know what to call him Ozark Ike though. Maybe just to fuck with him. A Gold Glove for Stain Spence at the St. Louis Browns. Well done. Definitely Lefty Grove. Definitely Max Bishop. Definitely Kiki Collier. I gotta go for my man Dizzy. The Diz, as one might call him. Okay, probably not, but I'll go for Tony Lazzari. Is pretty reasonable. Joe Sewell. Bucketfoot Al. Bill Terry. Paul Wayner. Hmm. I feel like a handful of players here are definite locks, and then beyond that, I'm not too sure. Um, right. Lefty Grove, easy choice. I feel very strongly he's going to make it. Dizzy Dean is close. I don't think it's a guarantee, but I think he's got a decent chance. Tony Lazzari's got a pretty decent chance. Paul Wayner should get in, but I can't even prove that he will. But there's a lot of people that are really, really good and definitely deserve a long look. Max Bishop should be in already. Why he's not, I don't know. I'll vote for Hack Wilson one last time just because of his high home run totals. I think he deserves some recognition for his baseball skill. I do. Oh, it's time to murder the losers. I mean, release them. Do we get a Silver Slugger? We did. Who? My pitcher. That makes sense. And Johnny Pesky actually had a pretty good offensive year too. Um, that is one of our biggest issues, though. We have two players that are god awful defenders that we would very much like to get out of respective spaces. Vern Series did not play shortstop anymore. I guess Pesky could, or Pesky can play second. We'll figure something to do with him. Bob Johnson is such a good hitter. Is this a place to make a trade? Is this a place to make a trade? I'm going to trade Bob Johnson and see what I might be able to acquire of any stripe. I mean, an amazing catcher is always valuable, but I don't need a catcher. Do I? Interesting. I'm going to keep looking. See if there's any other blues coming up here. Charles Parks is a really good catcher. Like, really, really good. But he is a former Negro Leaguer, which means there's a non-zero chance that he might collapse quite quickly. Charlie Gehringer is over the hill and uninteresting. Herb Sewell's not bad. He's just not terribly impressive. Eddie Sneed isn't that great. I have a first baseman. I'm not gonna go for a first baseman unless they're a drastic improvement over what I've already got. Buck Leonard has significantly declined. As we all do as we age, as we all do. Charlie Biot isn't bad. Oh, look, the A is actually buying players in the Negro Leagues now. That's really cool. Good old Chuck there isn't a bad choice. I mean, Johnny Rizzo is just Bob Johnson with competency at the plate, with competent defense. I don't know if that's enough for me. George Selkirk is an on base machine, and he's a better defender, but again, I don't know how compelling that is. Can we move Buddy Rosar somewhere? No, he only plays catcher, and I don't want to lose him. Rudy York can't really play anywhere over first base. Yeah, none of those names excite me. Unless I want to upgrade the rotation. The rotation is a bit of a weak spot now. I have three really good starters and a couple more that could be good at some point. Another veteran starting pitcher actually would be pretty useful. Ray Brown isn't that exciting, but he's a decent hitter, actually. How good a hitter is he? He is tolerable. Do I just accept the fact he's a terrible outfielder? Or maybe put him at first? He would be any better at first, but I think he'd be less exposed at first. That's for sure. Ed Head. Good old Ed. George Quinn is fun. It's hard to get excited about him, but he's fine. I don't want Campy. I have a place for him right now. Lee Grissom's walks concern me. I don't know that he would be a good fit for this club. I mean, how bad is Herb Sewell in left field? He's reasonably skilled, but we'd also be depriving ourselves of power, which I don't have a ton of access to right now. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can trade Bob Johnson for what's currently being offered to me. If we're looking at batting ratings, power. There's a whole lot of uninteresting stuff here. A whole lot. Yeah, I don't think we bother. I think we keep Bob Johnson for now and maybe flip him a little bit later on. I don't know. I wish I had thought to pay attention and try to teach you Vern Stevens second base. That's something I actually wanted to do. Is it too late? No, I don't think it is too late. Um, one of my thoughts is vacant for some reason. Oh, because I think I traded the player. Yes, Vern Stevens, learn second base, please. I beg you. Learn second base. Okay. Johnny Pesky won Rookie of the Year. Of course he did. Of course you did. That'll probably be the last of the awards that we win this season. We're hoping for a lot out of this draft. Some of the top tier talent here is really, really good. But I'm going to be picking fairly low in the draft. Picking eighth. I don't know that there's 8 great players in this draft. We'll certainly try, though. But I don't know that there are 8 worthy players in this draft. There's some great broadcasters like Joe Garagiola, but not at all what I didn't. Not at all a surprise to me that all the really good players are gone already. The draft is just too thin. Um, Ed here isn't bad. He's got a nice mix of pitches. He doesn't have a lot in the way of control, but if he can improve that, he'll be a decent starter. What about Carl Abrams? Cal Abrams, excuse me. Hmm. He's a really good on base player with a very good BABIP, which means he should be putting balls into play. He's got enough speed to take advantage of that. Let's look at hitters only for right now. This concerns me. He's not a very good outfielder, but he works hard and he's loyal. So he's a possibility, a strong possibility, perhaps. Joe Cragiola is a really well-rounded hitter, but he's not a very good catcher. I don't know that that's a great fit, although he is from St. Louis, so there'd be a little bit of local buzz. Jim Delsing is not a shortstop, at least not a real shortstop, but he is a very decent outfielder. He's smart, and he's got some decent offensive skills. I think he's our winner. I think Jim Delsing is going to become a St. Louis Brown. I don't know about Rocky Nelson. I don't know about a player with this specific kind of skill set. He's very unremarkable, except the fact he doesn't strike out. That's still not that uncommon. He is at least a reasonably good outfielder, which has some value. But let's look at some of these others here. Fred is fine, but not great. He's not a second. He's not a third baseman. No, the weak ass arm like that. Nap Reyes is just not good. Hmm. Les Moss can't catch. Matt Batts, ironically, not a very good hitter. Same with Gus here. Same with Clint Hartung. I think we take Fred Hatfield. No, Rocky Nelson, I think. I don't really like any of these guys, to be honest with you. I like Fred slightly better than I like Nelson. So I think we take Fred. We take Ferd. Ball player Morley is actually a pretty decent choice. I think we'll go ahead and grab him. Like, we're already at the point of the game where we're looking at players that just aren't very good. And I think I'm just going to let my... Oh, hang on. Red Treadway is actually not a very good hitter. Never mind. Are there any secret competent hitters left? No, no, no. Batting potential ratings. contact power. Vic Wertz is actually a really good hitter. Like, he is a terrible pitcher, but he's a really good hitter with a lot of athleticism. Let's grab Vic Wertz. I am glad I didn't skip him. I'm gonna shortlist him too to make sure that as soon as we can get him shipped over to the outfield because he's never gonna throw off a mound again for me. He offers little to no value in that regard. Any really good stuff guys left? Lyle Frisch throws really, really hard. I'm willing to hang on to grab him and see if a little bit of seasoning helps him put the ball in the general vicinity where we want it to go. And then I think I'll just go ahead and sim the rest of the draft. I don't think there's anything else in particular that I'm terribly thrilled about. I guess $1,200 is a lot of money, but it's like I don't have. It's like I have a better use for it, so we can do it. I have quite a few spots on my 40-man open. I'm gonna go ahead and keep both Bert Haas and Chuck Workman. I think that's reasonable. Probably not Tom Early though. Tom Early's not that good a player, but I will keep the rest of you. And time to cut a whole lot more people. So many people being released into the wild. That's minor league roster limits for you. Who's Jerry Dolan? He's a 28th round draft pick. We don't think he's very good. I agree. I don't think he is very good either. There's a lot of things I would love to have, but I don't think they'll be on offer, but we'll see. Nels Potter. You're an okay pitcher. I'm more than happy to grab you and see if we can find a role for you. I mean, Tom Brown here is actually a really good player too. Actually, is a really, really good player. I need Potter more, but if Brown comes back around, I will take him in a heartbeat. Damn it! Somebody else grab Brown. Annoying. That's what you get. I will take you, Mr. Border Gray, because you're actually an outfielder pretending to be a third baseman. Any big old thumpers, potentially? It's Wally Burger. I remember you. No interest. Thank you, though. I got what I wanted. I'm a little sad that I wasn't able to grab that third baseman, though. What happened to him? I don't know. Only the shadow knows. And he ain't talking. There's going to be a rather robust competition for the outfield spots. You fucking moron. I could not teach you second base to save my life. I guess you're shifting to third then, because I certainly don't want you playing shortstop again. That is a certainty. You cannot play shortstop for this club. You're not good enough. What if Jesse Williams were to learn second base? That seems to be a possibility, right? Jesse Williams. Where are you, dude? Here you are. Hey, you, learn a new position. Don't be frustrated. You son of a bitch. Grove, Winter, Cochran, and Dean all made it. I'm surprised Dizzy D made it his first year. I did not see Mickey Cochran. Oh, I think he retired like in the middle before I actually had a chance after I'd already voted. Otherwise, I definitely would have voted for him. Hey, that's two players that I selected, and Mr. Winter, and Mr. Dean. So I feel pretty good about that. What a career they both had. Boom. What a career for two Boston lifers and Paul Wainer and Dizzy Dean. Didn't I have Lefty Grove in Boston too? No, he played exclusively in Cincinnati in the sim. Okay. That is acceptable. Truly acceptable. Like everyone on my team's all starting pitcher. Like they're all starters. We're all starters down here. We I think the real challenge about this particular team is oh nice, he did learn second base. Well done. Well done, amigo. But you're an even worse player now, so what the fuck, man? I just taught you second base, and your response is, what if I got worse at everything except playing second base? Is there anybody else I could teach second base to? Like, literally anybody? Pesky already knows second base. Juiced already knows second base. Jim Delsing does not know second base. Let's go and teach him a new position. That seems reasonably smart. You know what? That's fair. I haven't really spent a ton of money or done anything terribly exciting this off season, so that's fair if you want to cut my salary a bit. Or not cut my salary, but cut my budget. I'm not using the one you've already given me, so that's reasonable. We are hurting, guys. We just don't have very many great prospects available. I mean, Pat Siri could be special if he can easily develop, but the cupboard is already rather bare. No, that's a stupid trade. You're stupid. Yes, give me your all-star catcher. In exchange, I'll... No. I'm more than happy to run it back with Rudy York at first base. More than happy. I guess I could have taught Rudy York the outfield. That would have been funny. Right? Like, hey, Rudy, you never played outfield before. Go figure it out. You'll be great. Like, Willie. I don't know about that. Vern Olsen's ability cratering just because he throws harder now is not exciting. Stan Spencer's got a whole lot better, though. That's good. Gene Moore just became a dumpster fire in the outfield. Always love to see that. I don't know, friends. This might be another rough season. I don't know that we have a ton of room for interest or hope. I will. Let's see. Bradford Bennett, Pat Siri, John Morrow. There you go. Go ahead and set up all the things. And you set up all the things. Bob Johnson. I feel like I can't not. Oh, he's got better at playing the outfield randomly. You know what? I love it. You just kept your job, my friend. He's like, oh, you're upset that I can't play the field pretty well. Well, let me just be amazing at it now. Like, okay. Really? So Jim Delsing just casually is learning how to be a catcher, not second base. Okay. I mean, I feel pretty confident Pete Reiser would in fact improve the roster, and they're gonna laugh their asses off if I even ask about him. We can try just for the lulls. No. If I gave you $100,000 in pure unadulterated cash. Oh, sorry. $90,000. You cannot be serious. I'm serious. Don't call me Shirley. Blah. Pat Series improved his ability to make contact, which is pretty exciting. Everybody else has no improvement. Ah, fuck you, Ricardo. Work better. Just beat them with the bat until they figure out how to hit better. It's a guarantee. It works every time. He's a solid outfielder, but I can't give up Rudy York. Rudy York is a little bit too important to me. No thanks. I would offer you John Stone. Oh, that's right. It's the John Stone issue where he won't accept a trade from anyone because he's a jerk. No, I'd like you for your leadership. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother. Thanks for the offer, Cleveland, but I must politely decline. Like, I'm not playing John Stone when the season starts. Like, that's not his job. I'd rather have Hank Lieber playing in center field, potentially. Pat Siri has gotten marginally better, has his Berardino. Bennett's slightly better, Schultz is slightly better, Crash Davis is slightly better. Nothing too wild is happening here. I have a feeling the answer is yes, and that also the answer would be don't be fucking absurd. Everyone seems to want Rudy York. What if I offered you Rudy York? And 90 grand. Okay. That's fair, I guess. I mean, I am pro Dom DiMaggio, but I don't think you're going to give him to me. Yeah, I think I need to turn off that thing because we're only getting offers I can't possibly use. Excuse me. Here it is. See you later. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. Let's drop 5 pitchers. Who are the least effective 5 pitchers left? Armstead and the Barbies. And Willie Hutchinson and John Morrow for now. What am I at now? 12, perfection. Um, I kind of think of having Dizzy Trout pitch in the bullpen to try to get a little bit stronger. Um, I'd like to have a regular stopper, but I think Bob Klinger is that guy. Because all Bob Klinger is really good at is throwing strikes. That doesn't make him very effective. I want to use Johnny Schmitz. I would like you to be my stopper, please. And let's just see how that works out. It might work out pretty well. I don't know. All right, position players. I need to get 8 of you gone. I do not need 3 catchers. Peacock is the better hitter. DeSaltos is the better defender. He's also 2 years older. I think we take the younger player with the slightly better bat. I think that's the right call here. I guess I could try to trade him, but I don't think I'm going to get too much in the way of a response. No, I can get 2 ineffective catchers of my own. It is literally better than nothing, but that's damning with faint praise. Because either one of these guys is even going to be a minor league catcher, let alone a major league catcher. I might as well just cut Desaudles. See you, chump. Okay. Abreu stinks. Israel stinks. Jesse Williams has lost all value. I feel like Pat Seward would be best served by being in the minor leagues. Uh, Workman to the minors. I don't think Frenchie is terribly compelling. I think we can return him. I think Bert Haas goes to the minors, and then let's get our lineup set up. Because they're going to look very different from the one that they have proposed for me. Alright, batting ratings. The best hitter on the team is Stan Spence. Are you better than Hank Lieber? Yes. You are better than Hank Lieber. I think you hit second, and Bob Johnson hits third. Now, we're expecting a lot out of a guy who played really poorly last year. We're hoping for a defensive renaissance at a fairly old age, but I don't have a better choice because he is clearly one of our best hitters. And then Rudy York is going to play first base. I suppose Pesky can lead off. I don't have an issue with that, but I don't want him playing second. I'd rather he play short. Yeah, Vern Stevens cannot play shortstop for us. He's going to be playing third base. And I think Eddie Juiced is going to play somewhere as well. But yeah, Vern Stevens is playing third. And he will hit fifth, though. Do I have a good shortstop anywhere in the system who's just really good at playing shortstop? Like, really good. Blop, 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 blop. Defensively, who is who are our top tier shortstop prospects? Bad, bad, and bad. Check the free agent market. I would like a shorting stop, please. I mean, all I care about is defense. Dan Henderson seems like a fairly good bat. Um, do any of my current players play shortstop with any level of actual skill? And look at position ratings. Pesky is my best shortstop. I have to let Pesky play short, and then I guess play Eddie Juiced at second. There we go. Batting ratings, please. Do I want Hank Lieber to play right field over John Stone? I think John Stone can at least have a sample try at right field. And then Mr. Used here is going to play second for us. You are now a baseman of the second variety. And last but certainly not least is our... Whoops, I should have said something. Catcher. Gosh, Buddy Rosar should not be batting this low in the lineup. Yeah, we're gonna bat him sixth. I think this feels like a reasonably high quality lineup. Reasonably high. And then we're gonna generate a depth chart here in just a second. Um, if you want to spell a 36-year-old every few games, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. It's interesting that we're largely running it back, and the only thing that we've changed is who plays what position, which is kind of odd. But maybe it will work out for us in the end. I don't know. I don't know. This is very similar to last year's team, which I think is going to be interesting because you weren't that good last year. And running it back with virtually the same roster doesn't seem to be a winning solution, but maybe they'll all just play better at the same time and it'll be great. Do I have anybody? No. I mean, I have Schmitz and I have Siri, who are both not terrible, but not terrible really doesn't play the Bills. Pay the bills, not play the bills. That's a very different thing. How much are the White Sox charging? White Sox charging a buck 35. The Cardinals are charging a buck 25. If I cut ticket prices down to a buck 10, I wonder if that's going to change very much. Probably not. We'll see. We'll see if cutting ticket prices a bit will get more people in the stands. Um, a lot of purchases there. This one just continues to hurt the more I look at it. It makes me sad. Yeah, Spud Davis sucked. It's going to be hard to ever top this in terms of bad deals. Show the top 15, please. I like how by far my best trade um was with the Braves. I wonder why Carl Hubble doesn't show up in my list here. I gave up two good players. Apparently, Vito Tamulis also had a pretty incredible career. Damn. Thank goodness for my draft picks and my purchases of players. I wonder why Carl Hubble doesn't show up in this list, though. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not very good at trading. Um, maybe I'm just not very good at trading, and I've just been lying to you the entire time. It is possible. play some baseball. Oh, Bradford Bennett. Congratulations. You get added on. That's it. I do I? Ah, another bunch of losers. I mean, I like that he keeps throwing harder, but it isn't actually making him a better pitcher, so I have questions. I have many questions. Okay. Good old Sam Jones. Jonesy, as likes to be called. Your opinion is noted and discarded. I can't figure out if the AL is just really, really tight. Oh my god, stop complaining, fuckheads. Or we're all just not a very good team. Would you all stop complaining to be starters? You don't deserve it, or I would have made you a starter to begin with. Alright. What do we got? Howie Schultz just took a big step forward. Probably not enough to be a viable player, but it is appreciated. Mostly unimpressive changes here. Well, Jim Delsing learning how to play shortstop can only help him. Can only accelerate his path to success. Where is Vicky Boy? What the fuck? I signed him. How did he get... Oh, the game convinced me to cut him. Oh my gosh, game. I get why you had me do it, but that sucks. Because he's a really good player. I should have paid more attention. That's yikes. We are not a team that is full of quality offensive players, that's for sure. But the pitching isn't bad this year. Only Clad Passo and Max Manning to a lesser extent are really struggling. That does give me some hope for the future. Game, why did you do that? How's Bob Johnson handling things? He is a rare bright spot who has actually really nailed down how to play left field. So that's good news. That's excellent news. No, Vic Wirtz is going to the minor leagues. He's going to transform from a terrible, terrible fielder to a pretty damn good outfielder. Okay, set game strategy. Lock to team. I mean, how to play in AAA, but somebody else is going to get cut that is not him because he actually is a fairly good offensive prospect. 17 is way too young, or is way too way too young to be playing in AAA. So I'm gonna send him to Lafayette. As somebody else gets cut, somebody else gets cut. Yeah, we are badly struggling to score runs. Um, you want to let Thomas Robinson go? Fine. He sucks, but are there good offensive performers available on the block of trading? Let's take a look. Probably not. Not really. I mean, there's always Red Ruffing converting him into being a hitter, but he's also unmotivated. I don't want him to disrupt our clubhouse chemistry, which is already admittedly thoroughly mid. Um, it is what it is. I don't know what we can do to improve this team. Is the problem? I don't think there is anything we can do. I'm not gonna bother putting on the IL Johnstone. Francine's having an okay year. I don't complain about that at all. Pat Siri is getting better. Howie Schultz has an average chance of making the roster, which a couple seasons ago I would have said I would have laughed my ass off. Did him ever seeing the field? For Pat Siri, it's all gonna start being can he start making contact regularly? If he can, I think the sky's the limit with him. I think he could truly be one of the best players in the major leagues. Damn, Joe Cronin is still playing strong at his age. That's impressive. Well done, friend. Well done. Feldu. I'm done with Johnstone. I'm truly, truly done with him. Does anybody want him for literally anything? No. Oh, because Johnstone, yeah, you're just gonna keep. No, fuck off, dude. You're gone. I will call Workman back up. Let's give Bennett a chance in right field. Or no, Hank Lieber. Lieber is a bit more of a proven commodity. Let's let Mr. Lieber play some right field for us. Play some Earth. No, this feels okay. I'm not gonna fuck with anything else here. This seems like the right decision. I feel like Vernon Stevens got a good chance to make the All Star team this year. Beyond him, I'm not sure. Maybe the Pescinator. There he is. No Vernon Stevens, sadly. Buddy Rosar and Johnny Pesky. That's it. Mm. I can't sound too surprised, but I'm a little disappointed. A little bit. Look at my beautiful boy, Stan Hack, still having an incredible career. Stan Hack is low key one of the best players I've ever added, just because he's been so reliable for so long. He is Stan the Hack Man. Um, that is for certain. Yeah, I'm tired of you complaining right now. I guess our firing coaches that might help keep my job. All right, Andy Smith is okay. I don't really have a need to get rid of him. We'll keep him around. Under my learning tree. Tommy Lynch is an awful coach. He can fuck right off. He can fuck all the way off. Huck Wallace is really good. And Hitch is really good. So you're both getting an extension. There we are. I don't know what we do. I don't think there's anything that we can do. I think we're too far behind the eight ball to even have a realistic chance of having a competitive team. I might get fired. It all depends on how much my shocking AL pennant will has bought me in terms of grace from my owner. Rudy York, by the way, has melted down into being thoroughly unpleasant. It's honestly been our pitching set that's kind of let us down a little bit, but we're not a bad team. Which I think is going to be eternally frustrating. Because we're basically a 500 team in a time in history where there's only one choice. Bama Roll is a decent hitter who cannot play second base whatsoever. Hard pass. The hardest of passes. Trade deadline. Yeah, don't be fucking stupid, man. Mueller. I'd love to get me Josh Gibson, but I'm almost positive I can't afford him. Bruce Campbell would be a fairly solid upgrade in right field, I think, but he's also probably going to cost me a fair bit, but let's at least ask. Nope, Bruce Campbell's like, fuck you, I don't want to play for the Browns. That's fair. I respect that. Bill Bird, maybe. Well, I could have had Bill Bird this whole time. I feel silly. I wonder if there is any such player. 50 potential pitchers, please. Anybody? God knows I could use some. No, none. That's fine. That's all I wanted. And I'm looking at hitters, not pitchers. That makes sense. Like I just need arms, so a guy like Ralph Wyatt actually makes a little bit of sense. So let's go ahead and pay for him. And Mel Parnell. Waddell. It's just going to be nearly impossible to find quality pitchers. It's just going to be nearly impossible. Do I care that I don't have enough good pitchers? Like, would one more pitcher actually make a sizable difference? I don't think it would. Like, the big problem is Vern Olsen going from one of the best pitchers in the league to being garbage tier for no real discernible reason that I can tell. But we'll figure it out. Adding a starting pitcher, especially if they're a little bit younger, so they're a little bit more sustainable, might actually help us quite a bit in the future. 37 and 34 are too old, in my opinion. I want somebody like in their 30s, maybe? Early 30s, perhaps? Such a player does not appear to be available. I'm just gonna skip to Sims and see if anybody offers something intriguing. I don't really have enough depth to make a meaningful trade, I don't think. Like, what are we so good at that I can afford to give up a little bit? Like, I guess I have several outfielders with some level of competency, but I don't think that's terribly appealing. Howie Schultz isn't far away from getting a shot at first base, especially because Rudy York has chosen this year to be awful. Um, if I offered up Rudy York, I know I like him a lot, but he is really struggling this year. What do we got here? I could get Dutch Leonard. I could get Hosh Gibson. I could get a really young pitcher in Hank Wise. I'm not saying that Hank Wise is a perfect pitcher by any stretch of the imagination, but he is very young, and that's got a lot of value to me. Jim Tabor is not bad. What would it take to get Ralph Kiner? You're just gonna laugh your asses off, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Okay. How about Thomas Saxon? I'm sorry, fans. I know you're sad about losing Rudy York, but the fact is, he has lost his ability to play effectively, and we need more pitching. And now we have superstar Howie Schultz to hopefully guide us into the new millennium. Let's get rid of who's pitching better. Olson by a fair bit will demote Manning, and then call up Howie Schultz to play first base, or we shift Bob Johnson to first base. That's but he's actually having a good year. I'm not gonna fuck with him too much. Honk Liba. Okay. So Vern Stevens slides on up. Buddy Rosar slides on up. And then Howie Schultz is gonna hit sixth. The Houster, in other words, as he likes to be called. Pitching, instantly Hank Wise gets a rotation spot and instantly becomes, I think, at worst, our number 3 starter. So there we go. Done. That's a decent deadline deal. I'm not saying this might not bite us in the butt in the long term, but the fact is, Rudy York was having by far the worst year of his career. And he's only going to get more expensive. So we'll see how he does in Cincinnati. I'd say this is another huge mistake on my part. I don't think it is. I think upgrading our rotation is worth losing him. Especially since Howie Schultz has actually proven to be a potentially competent hitter. I think that just gives us flexibility. Fucking Cecil Travis casually hitting 876. What a lunatic. What a lunatic. Dynamite. I like how you also became Rookie of the Year in the AL despite the fact you've thrown like 3 pitches for me. You've in fact thrown 0 pitches for me, that's funny. Like, wow, what an amazing pitcher. I've literally not even touched a baseball for the American League yet, but thank you. Moore, I'm not very happy with your constant bitching, so I guess we're both stuck. We need an offensive play driver pretty badly. We need a position. Why are you being demoted? Oh, I just forgot about you. Yeah, you can go to AAA. Oh, you do too. Okay. Hey, JC Hamilton ain't doing shit, Thomas Saxon. If you want to be promoted, by all means. Mr. Hamilton here is not anything special. I will let you be a middle reliever. If you could control the walks, you'd be one of the best pitchers in the league. The problem is right now that you can't. Maybe I should make Hal Benton the closer. No, he's also walking everybody. That might just be a common theme, though. So everybody walks everybody. Very possible. Very, very possible. I wonder if I have even a snowball's chance in Hal of making the postseason at this point. I don't think it's possible. I think we're too far out of it. Your request to trade you after the trade deadline is brilliant by your agent. Pure genius. Mm. This is wasting a tremendous season by Johnny Pesky, who's having an outstanding season, but I can't do anything about that. Like, there's literally nothing I can do. Mm. If Vern Stevens wasn't such a good power hitter, I think we'd have real problems with him, but I also think he will get better if he's given the opportunity to. How are you worth so many WAR? You're a really good shortstop. That helps. I think this might just be a down year in terms of offense, but like in general, there's not a ton of really exciting um things to note here. Bunch of fuckos retiring. I might get shit canned. I think I raised expectations too quickly by winning a pennant my first season because all of a sudden it's gotten a lot harder to find the top tier talent that I was previously getting. Mm. But here's the thing, you haven't started for any major league team in a long time. 7 years. So the sooner you stop complaining about that, the happier we'll both be. Like, I'm sorry, mate, but at this point in your career, you're just another guy. Which 71 and 84. Something tells you that's probably not going to make my owner too happy. Even though the only player in the entire major leagues better than Johnny Pesky was Ted Williams. That's clearly not going to be enough, which is sad. Some real baseball players retired this year, that's for sure. Some of the baseball players of all time. Congrats to the Braves. This dynasty is probably indestructible. I don't see them ever getting knocked down a peg. They're just too damn good. That is really tragic that we couldn't make more out of an incredible season out of Johnny Pesky. Um, because it was an incredible season out of him. Alas, them is the break sometimes. Let's see if I can get a new contract. I might just get shit canned. Um, if they rehire me, I will be somewhat surprised, but we'll see. I just don't think there's a lot I could have done this year. It's just too hard to find talent, in my opinion. Although I should be being more creative with things like the waiver wire. That much I agree with. It says I got a very fine score, so maybe that's okay. Maybe. He is happy. Okay. I got a 3-year contract extension. That's a mood. How did we do as a team? Other than Johnny Pesky's crazy good year. He was really good though, wasn't he? He got on base, he hit for a decent bit of pop. Now, something to watch out for is this. Remember, triples are not sustainable. So he could very quickly drop back to his previous year's level without too much of a surprise. But he's a really good shortstop, which I think we desperately needed. Vern Stevens was a decent third baseman and offered us at least some modicum of consistent power. I mean, he's 30% better than the average offensive performer. I said Bob Johnson needed to be a better outfielder, and he was. And all of a sudden, he becomes significantly more valuable. He is losing power, though. But he was still a pretty effective hitter. I just think we need to get better than him. Buddy Rosar is just a machine behind the plate. Stan Spence is starting to slip a little bit, but I think it's because his game doesn't come paired with a bunch of power, which is always going to weaken him relative to his pals. He's also a terrible center fielder. Oh my lord, we need a better center fielder. Edford Q Juiced played fairly effectively. Our defense up the middle was not bad, other than Spence being terrible, but Juiced also didn't hit at all. And then it kind of goes downhill from there. We need a center fielder pretty desperately. Maybe that's Hank Lieber, but probably not. I don't think Hank Lieber is anything special anymore either. Um, this is what happens. You just run it back with last year's roster and hope for the best. Sometimes the best doesn't happen, which is very clearly what happened here. Um, Howie Schultz ended up not being that great. He's still got time to show that he can have a successful career. Pitching. Did any of my pitchers pitch all that well? Hank Wise did, with the caveat that a lot of that came from his time with the Reds, but he's also very, very effective with us too. Bucky Walters, Tommy Bridges were good, and then from there it's mostly meh. I almost need to commit to sucking for a season to try to get some better draft picks. but I don't think it's going to help. I am picking fourth overall. Are there quality players in this draft? There really are not. Oh, I'm looking at pictures, sorry. I mean, there's a couple. There are a couple. Interesting. It's a good year for people that need catchers, and because I'm relatively set, I'm hoping that'll mean one of these other guys will still be available by the time I get to draft. I don't know, we'll see. Gil Hodges or Del Ennis would be the players that I'd like to have if I were given my choice. We shall see, though. Until next time, my friends, this has been Up Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.